And now Keith can tell about his cars and his motorcycles.
Well, right from the early 60s when I was working with orchestras along with my contemporaries like Rick Wakeman and John Lord, the late John Lord. It was always our intent to bring this across to a wider audience. I think that the conductor John Williams with the Boston Pops Orchestra helped in some way when he introduced pieces like Star Wars. He obviously playing the Beethovens and all that, which possibly the orchestras could actually play. They knew it by heart. But I think the younger generation of musicians really yearn for a challenge. To just move further ahead. Exactly as when I first mentioned about Frank Zappa, my hero. It is. It's inevitable that it has to happen. Along with the invention of the saxophone and the Moog synthesizer and everything else, introducing new instruments and having young people just getting involved and okay. So Mark and I are like rock and roll guys. Are you rock and roll?
Yeah.
Yeah. You are definitely rock.
Well.
But apart from that, he's got a great insight into the classics and Ravel.
He's a clocker.
Yeah. There's nothing you could swing by this guy which he doesn't get. And I think
Except American Idol. But other than that.
I'm not going to comment on that. But it's just. It is great, and I mean for my grandchildren who listen to this, they actually like it, and for the first time they've said, "Granddad, you're quite good."
Where'd you learn to play guitar like that?
Well, actually, yes. Some of them think I'm playing your bits. Yeah, there we go. All right. But it's a great album. And
it's a wonderful project, and it'll be in stores, online, downloaded, wherever you might want to go. It's called The Three Fates. Tell us about the name. Why The Three Fates?
Well, we were trying to think of a name. Obviously, what are we going to call this? And I don't know if I had the first ELP album standing out or whatever, but Three Fates off of the album. I remember it was the first thing I had heard of. I didn't hear Lucky Man. I didn't hear Take a Pebble. The first thing I heard was when I put the record on. I put it on side 2 for whatever reason. All of a sudden, this Mondo pipe organ. That's the first thing I heard of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and it was always stuck out as being the first. It's like your first love, and so. I don't know how that I gave it that much real thought. We were all coming up with suggestions, and I said, "Well, what about the Three Fates?" Because I was thinking that we have 3 different universes here that we're really I mean, we've got Tadier in the classical world. For me, I'm more of a rock and roll guitar player. Keith is kind of spans both sides of that with what he's done, and it's really been and he and I have been bumping into each other since the '80s. On certain projects. We'd show up in the same damn country in the same nightclub, totally had.
you got, by the way.
Yeah. And yeah, it was okay, all right, yeah.
He's reminiscing himself, right?
But we would just our paths would cross like fire trails up in the wilderness. They were just all of a sudden, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? So. It just got to a point that we were the trails were meeting further or quicker and quicker, more frequently, and so I remember telling him, we were in Oslo last, I said, you know, in 1974, when I went to go see you guys at do the brain salad surgery tour, you jumped off the stage with your ribbon control, and you went right past me, and you brushed my shoulder, you know. And he went, well, obviously, he's not going to remember that. But I said, so it was just interesting that we've just brushed by each other. That was the first meeting, really, you know.
Brush with greatness.
Yeah, exactly. To know that these many years later, we're still sitting 3 inches apart here, you know. So, but the thing that's great about that is the fact that you've got these people in your life that you're destined to create with, and they all happen in particular intervals, and some obviously are for longer relationships like we've had, and so I think. Oh, stop!
Some destiny in there.
But it really is that case, and so it really is like destiny and like fate.
Yeah.
So with three of us, it made sense, and I wrote the thing down. I emailed it like, what about the three fates? You know, and they all went, you know, yeah, that sounds like that might work. They agreed, and it was. But
Three Amigos was already taken.
Yeah, it was taken. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So.
Whatever you do, don't refer to us as the three farts. We've got
Never.
a lot more to deliver yet.
Exactly.
Oh, me? I'm over to me?
Mark.
I can't enlarge upon that.
Well, Mark alluded to Emerson, Lake and Palmer too. Is there any thought to working with those guys again? Is that going to happen? Or
No, I don't think so. The whole reason for calling the band Emerson, Lake and Palmer was the fact that I regarded Greg Lake and Carl Palmer as, you know, wonderful soloists in their own right. Mm-hmm. So I always thought that, bands don't last forever. You know, they move on. And I figured that that's what the name of the band should be called, because I knew that Greg Lake would go on. I knew that Carl Palmer would go on without me. So that was it, you know. There wasn't any intention of, sort of moving on forever. We actually exhausted the whole possibility of a trio, which, of course, Emerson, Lake and Palmer were. And I think we had the best goddamn trio ever. But there does come a time where you've done it for so many years that you really want to work with other people. Right. And this is why we're here.
It's quite a trio you have right here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Much success to the record. I really
Thank you very much. Yeah.
It's going to be a big success. Again, it's called the Three Fates Project, and it's Keith Emerson, Marc Bonilla, and Terje Mikkelsen. And anything else that you guys would like to tell us about that the people don't know about, or besides websites? Obviously, you can find things on KeithEmerson.com, MarcBonilla.com. You can find TerjeMikkelsen.com. Anything else?
Did you bring any salmon from Norway?
No. No, but I just know.
Did you bring me a present from Norway?
No.
No, we brought you some disc cleaner.
Oh yeah, we did. Actually, I did. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, there you go. To be continued.
I can't wait.
Listen,
He's bought me a present.
Yeah.